Hello again, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to The View from Here. As promised, or threatened, as the case may be, as whatever way you see it, we are back with another podcast. Mike is wearing his Make America Great Again hat, his MAGA hat, and he's got his, what the hell is his
Mason knife.
Mason symbol knife.
It's for Mason work.
That's cool. I like that.
I'm telling you, man, Ken really blew my mind with this knife. I mean, I didn't know that he appreciated me that much. But by the way,
He probably just wanted to get rid of you, and he gave it to you like a dog with a bone. Look, go away, you draw flies.
I want to introduce everybody to the show in a way I was introduced to somebody else's show, and I have to admit, it is a great way to introduce the show. Here it goes. Welcome to the Second Revolution.
Cool. I like it. I approve.
That's in response to the deplorable behavior of the Democratic Congress.
No, they are not worthy of being called deplorables. We're deplorables. Fuck them. They are disgusting.
They have to actually improve in order to become
Yes, of course.
Oh my God.
They were disgusting. I mean, they could not stand for a 13-year-old kid who was fighting cancer. Go ahead.
Oh, the one thing I think that you're going to be very happy, they're restructuring the Green New Deal. They're going to restructure it and send it to Congress.
Who is? The Democrats?
No, the entire Congress is behind it. Actually, it's a Republican move. Let me explain it to you. Once I explain it to you...
do away with it? Go ahead.
They're restructuring it. Okay, the new Green New Deal is the promise from Speaker Mike Johnson that if anybody starts a lot of shit, they're going to get rid of his green ass, which is Congressman Green from Texas, who looks like a ruptured Care Bear. I don't know what the fuck that thing is that walks around in Congress, but it ain't no man. That is one hairy son of a bitch.
Oh, they were friggin' stupid. And there was another one. I don't know her name, but she left and she was complaining about how she was traumatized by the speech.
Well, how about
that? Wasn't the word she used, but basically she was traumatized by the president's speech.
How about the news commentator that referred to the 13-year-old boy who was given the honorary award? What was it?
Honorary Secret Service membership.
Secret Service, right. And the thing is that, she said, well, let's hope that he doesn't basically cause an insurrection or get shot or, I mean, all this.
Who the fuck said?
A newscaster.
One of the propagandists for the left. Okay.
Yes, but the ultimate thing that comes down to this is they shot themselves in the foot because, and I recommend everybody watch the entire 2 hours. I know it's a long time, but it's at the very least the equivalent amount of entertainment as world-class wrestling. Because
I'll tell you one thing, it was a lot more interesting than the Oscars from what I heard.
Well, hell yes. And the thing is that the Democrats basically, first of all, 3/4 of the United States population agreed with Trump's speech. Okay, that's coming.
There's always that 20, as Scott Adams says, always that 25% that is contrary to everything that is common sense.
Again, we don't know. See, the thing is, we're saying 75% of the people actually said yes. There's plenty of people out there to go, I'm not going to fucking bother. And then there's also those people that go, it wasn't really that great. I don't think I'm going to say yes. So we're talking about an entire scale of not yes, which could also be totally neutral. So that we're just laziness. Because there's this talk about this new type of liberal, which is basically a liberal who is a liberal out of lack of effort. Just basically,
They've hijacked the term liberal. Look, they've hijacked the term liberal. Liberals were tolerant. Liberals were the original founding fathers were what you could say called liberal because they came up with new stuff that nobody had ever thought of or nobody thought they could get away with coming up with our Constitution, our Declaration of Independence, and so forth, and the way that they structured our government. They structured it in a way, no other country in the world, since our revolution or until now, or even before, has ever given people the power over government rather than power to government over people.
In my mind, the true expression of liberalism is about expanding freedom, not imposing somebody else's view of it upon another.
And not squelching free speech.
Yeah, well, that's very
not infringing on your natural rights, freedom of speech, freedom of religion, and all that.
Well, the thing is, that is a feminine approach to combat, which is, the snubbing, the ridicule, the in other words, antisocial thing. The thing is, like, the word civilization came to me when I was watching that show, the speech, and civilization has the word civil in it, and civility is about the behavior of one individual to another. Okay, the Democrats were not civil, and because of that,
they're never civil.
They don't deserve. They cannot say that they're truly part of this civilization, because they're not willing to integrate with their fellows and come up with some sort of mean that everybody can live with. And it's kind of like, well, the thing is, 13-year-old boy gets this award. They can't stand up for a kid that's gone through five operations to handle cancer. And when you hear, if you get a chance and you find the interview that one of the people had with this young man, this 13-year-old boy, because of all of the distress that he's have to face, it sounds like you're talking to and listening from a individual who's highly mature. I mean, I was listening to him and I said, oh my God, if you would have told me that was a 40-year-old man, I would believe you. That's how clear and concise and aware he was, and I'm not saying that all 40 years. There's a couple of them out there that are definitely totally whack.
The Democrats stood for nothing, okay, because they didn't even stand or applaud even when the president announced that the terrorist, the Taliban terrorist who was in charge, who masterminded the killing of 13 Americans, thanks to Joe Biden and his administration's bungling of the withdrawal from Afghanistan. They couldn't even applaud that.
They did applaud once, and they applaud for the declaration from Trump that we had spent billions of dollars to Ukraine.
Oh, yeah. And did you see what Liz Warren said when he pointed her out? Of course, Pocahontas likes this. She started clapping even harder, this stupid bit, because she's a warmongering cunt. She's a fucking cunt. Hey, Liz Warren, if you ever listen to this, you are a fucking cunt. I would tell you to your face. I don't care how many bodyguards you got. I would tell you, you're a fucking cunt.
Don't say that, because you don't know which face you'd be talking to. Just two faces.
Hey,
but here's an interesting thing. Getting off subject. Why am I wearing this today? Because I normally keep this in my car.
Let's do it properly. Michael, tell us why you're wearing your MAGA hat today on the show.
Well, first of all, I've been wearing this since 2019, pretty much every day. And the thing is that my experience has changed in the past few years, because ever since Trump got elected, I've been getting strangers coming up to me more often. Like in the past, it was anywhere from 1 to 3 people per day would come up to me and go, nice hat, or have a conversation with me, whatever. So that was my thing. That was my offering to the country, to be there out there with this hat. And it actually made it a lot of.
That was you were being the Scott Pressler of
I don't know what Pressler is, but okay.
He's the guy who turned Pennsylvania red. He's the guy who was out there getting voters registered, and he even got the Amish to vote for Trump.
I forgot about him. I was supposed to go to an event where he was at, and I just couldn't figure out how to get to this pub that he was having a party at, and then I found out I missed it.
But you know where he is now? I didn't know this, but he moved from Florida, from his family, to go live in Pennsylvania so he could do that for the election. You know where he is right now? In New Jersey, because he says we can change this state to red. That asshole, anti-gun, anti-constitutional asshole, what's his name, Murphy, won by 80,000 votes. You know that there are 200,000 unregistered gun owners. If half of them had registered and voted, Murphy would not be there. Plotkin would not be there. They would not be infringing on our Second Amendment rights and all our other rights.
Well, you don't even know if the vote count was correct.
That's another thing. But it was by 80,000. It's not like insurmountable thing. And if Pressler is trying to get gun owners and other unregistered voters to vote, he's convinced that we can. And he had a point. He was talking about 2020, the midterm elections. Now, what's going to happen? And traditionally, the party that's in power loses seats in Congress in the midterm elections. If this happens again, what's going to happen? Same thing that happened during Trump's first term. They're going to start impeaching him, trying to stop whatever he's doing again.
There was already
you can't allow that to happen.
It was already an attempt. Somebody already initiated it, but because of the fact that it seemed redundant, I guess, it didn't fly. But here's where the Dems really made the mistake last night. When they continued to go after President Trump with lawfare, and they did it sloppily. They did it at a level that was, if properly explained, was clearly corrupt. Okay? Because you had to have it you had to have somebody who was actually saying, by the way, the reason why this supposedly is coming up now, even though the statutory period was already passed, is because they changed the law just to suit this particular thing so they could go after Trump. That is when you customize the law to go after a particular individual, you're not creating law, creating an assault. That's what you're doing. So anyway, what the Democrats did last night was they distinguished themselves as being, first of all, uncivil.
I didn't catch that. What the Democrats did. Wait, Mike, we lost your voice for a moment. Repeat that.
What the Democrats did last night was, first of all, they were uncivil. They showed no decorum. So it's kind of like Fetterman never wearing a suit. Okay, it's not a big thing, whatever. But with their signs and everything, and not acknowledging the various citizens that were which were recognized by Trump. Okay, the border patrol man who was in a firefight to protect his partner,
to save his
14-year-old boy with cancer, the families, what they call angel mothers, from two young ladies that were raped and killed by illegals, etc., etc. Yeah. When they could not honor private citizens for performing extraordinary feats, okay, then they showed themselves to put their politics beyond what we consider human. They were inhuman to these people. A 13-year-old boy, you can't give him his day. You can't clap his hands. Yeah. He's got fucking cancer, you piece of shit. You can't treat him with some respect. That little boy.
The Democrats stand for nothing that is good for America. They only stand for their agenda. And their agenda is horrible for America. The past 4 years proved that. This is why so many people voted for President Trump. And now they're trying to bring up, some people were bringing up that, I don't believe that every county in the country was red. I think there was fraud there and so forth, right? And then one guy answered, said, well, if you think there was fraud there, maybe it opens the doors for us to go look at the 2022 election too.
Yeah, there's a meme out there that said that when Trump won the 2024 election, he said, "Congratulations, sir! You've won the presidency 3 times in a row."
Yes, he has. He's the only person who, since FDR, to win it 3 times in a row.
Last night was the first night I felt fully pleased with Speaker Mike Johnson.
Oh, when he got rid of the homeless guy with the cane.
That must have been earlier in the evening. No, when he got...
Oh, it's right at the beginning.
When he got rid of that congressman who refused to wash his face for the last 3 years.
That's the homeless guy I'm referring to. Actually, I've seen homeless people who look better than he does.
And the thing is that I'm quite sure it's happened in the past, but at the same time, there was more than just getting this guy out. That was Mike Johnson finally, as far as I'm concerned, exerting his authority.
Yes.
And Vance was right there.
Speaking of Johnson, do you know who Karen Johnson is? Yes, Karen is her real first name.
Okay.
And her real last name is Johnson. Do you know who Karen Johnson is? That propagandist, lying, fat, disgusting pig, Whoopi Goldberg. She's a true life Karen. That's her real name, Karen Johnson.
Karen Johnson?
Yes. She is a Johnson. She's a fucking Johnson.
Wait a second. We're constantly making fun of her, but just think about this. She went from Karen Johnson, which is a perfectly acceptable name, to Whoopi Goldberg, a Jewish last name, and a whoopee cushion. I mean,
she looks like a whoopee cushion.
Couldn't it be, Stroker Johnson?
Well, he's a Johnson in the sense of, in the, what do you call it, the slang sense that, show me your Johnson.
Karen Johnson.
And Karen, she's definitely a fucking Karen. Holy shit. How appropriately was she named? All right?
She didn't
even know years back that this was, that this was going to mean what it means.
Listen,
her stage name, Karen Johnson, would have been a good stage name.
Until she became politically extremist, okay? I actually enjoyed her movies.
Her movies, that was all right. But I like the comedy.
What was it? The one where somebody's dead and he comes back to life? Oh, my God. A Ghost.
I was going to say, Ghost? She was in Ghost?
Yeah, she was the medium. She was like the Jamaican.
She's the one who got into me more to talk.
Yeah. I thought she was freaking fantastic in that. So the thing is, I liked her. And
I used to like her stand-up years ago when she first came out. But after she got political, I was like, you lost your humor. You lost your...
Look, if Sir Laurence Olivier at some point in his life had gone ahead and chopped the heads off of 3 infants, I'm pretty much done with him, regardless of how great an actor he is.
Yeah,
fortunately that didn't happen. But the point is, if you use your fame for political purposes, then that is the platform you're riding on. And if that's
like
a platform,
Jane Fonda,
I have a right to disagree with you and diminish your platform. But as an actress, I didn't have. The thing is, sometimes I wonder, how much does it require to truly be an actor? There was this comedian, and they were talking about The Revenant, where DiCaprio got paid $20 million to do that part. And it was one of extremely physically demanding. He was in ice cold water in the middle of winter and stuff like that. And somebody in the industry said, it's amazing that DiCaprio actually was willing to do this. And the comedian who's telling everybody about this, the comedian ends it with going, excuse me, sir, but you have no idea what I'm willing to do for $20 million. That's nothing. Go in some ice cold water, shit, yeah. So that was funny. But The Revenant is a great movie. It is painful, though. The entire movie is pretty much painful. It is. It reminds me of the movie called The Road with Viggo Mortensen, who's one of my favorite actors.
Wait, Morgan? Oh, he was The Road. I haven't seen. I thought it was the one with.
Oh my God! It is so painful. It is so painful. It is a great movie, but it is. You actually feel the misery in that movie. There is so little hope in that movie. It just hurts.
Very dystopian.
So real.
All right. Yeah, that was another. Wasn't that written by Cormac something or other?
Yeah. It was written by Aunt Jemima. Yeah, right.
Who wrote The Road?
The Road. Man, don't be.
Cormac McCarthy. I was right. Cormac McCarthy. And you know what else?
Right.
You know what else
is right, not you.
I think
you have your authority to be right when you look at
Shut up. I think he's also the guy who wrote, my God, what's the one? Jesus. No Country for Old Men. No Country for Old Men.
Oh, my God, if he is, then that's because that's another great movie. No Country for Old Men.
Hey, Siri, did Cormac McCarthy write No Country for Old Men?
Hey, Siri, kiss my ass.
Yes. Cormac McCarthy wrote the novel No Country for Old Men in 2005.
Well, then, first of all, that is a great movie.
It is.
There are moments in that movie that you are so hoping that shit does not go south. That is just
like at the gas station, remember?
In the military, we used to call that an accident waiting to happen.
Yeah, like in the gas station, remember where he says, you think you're so lucky? Call it, heads or tails. And you're like, no, this poor fucking guy. Because we already know what.
How about the scene with Woody Harrelson with Sugar?
Oh my God, yeah, and that was like a shocker. I didn't expect that scene to end the way it.
And actually, you didn't expect the ending. The fact he blows up a car and just gets away. See, no, years ago that wouldn't.
Well, that's leaving it an opening for a sequel.
Now, come on, man, you can't leave that shit alone. That's like they should have left The Matrix alone, the original Matrix. That was
Yes, I think the first one was the best film.
And then
the third was the worst. As they went on, it got worse.
The second one was really like that. The explanation from the architect, the guy, it was an anomaly and multiplied by the blah blah. Shut the fuck up.
Wait, was that the second or third? Oh no, the third was the colony under the ground. Yeah, that was
both. They were both.
Yes.
The first one was genius.
Yes, absolutely great. And you can relate to it because we've been living in a matrix. I mean, the media has proven itself nothing but a propaganda tool, nothing but a tool to guide our mind.
I'll go even further than that. Inside of everybody is a meaning machine. We constantly are looking at our experience and coming up with meanings and values and so forth. It's interpretations. And that is our matrix, our self-designed matrix. When you can free yourself from your mind, you might actually be able to experience direct.
Well, when you can free yourself from the desires and from the expectations and from the directives that are pounded into you from the time you go into school, then you have a chance to see the real world as it is.
Right, but the thing is, at that point, you can no longer recognize that their origin is no longer the issue. The issue is that they are still in play. So however you acquired these self-managing control systems, okay, is not the issue. The issue is what are you doing atomically, okay? And is that something that serves you? If it's not, then and even then, just become aware of what is moving you. There is an old Zen saying, which is kind of a joke, and that is, I'm not crazy, I am out of my mind. So with the idea that the mind is this mechanism that
limits you. It limits you.
Well, it's constantly generating. It's kind of like the Democratic Party. They create reasons to spend money so they can exist. The mind creates conclusions and thoughts because it wants to be. So the only way that it can go ahead, you can only let it spin. It's going to do what it wants. But the point is, know that it is not you. That it is a psychic machine that is spinning around and just generating ideas. And sometimes those ideas are really good. So don't completely discount it. When it goes, hey, doesn't that look like a bomb? Yeah, baby, let's get the hell out of here. So sometimes it's good.
Well, it's like that time I told you when I had my first car accident.
Okay, I don't remember.
I'm 17. I'd seen too many films, and when the car crashed and I didn't know at the time, but I heard this really, and it was clanging and everything. It turned out that the fan got pushed into the radiator and was making a huge racket. And I just thought I hit the brakes to put it in park, and this thing is going. I'm like, oh shit, it's going to blow up. I ran across the street and I ducked behind the car, and I'm waiting. And I look and I'm watching the car to see if it's going to explode. And I look up and down the street. There are people standing outside their homes. They're like looking at me like, what the fuck's going on? Right. I said, I got to do something. So I went over there like a crab, in the crouch. I ran over there, turned the motor off, and then and it stopped. And I was like, oh, okay. But I felt a little foolish.
When I was living in Las Vegas, I had a dirt bike that I used to drive very fast. And I used to like riding the rims of the tires. That's getting the bike and actually riding the sides of the tire.
Oh, the rim itself.
Really harsh turns. Well, you really shouldn't do that in a place where there's a lot of sand. So anyway, I'm doing this turn I think I was doing about 45, 50 miles an hour. And I was in the habit of doing these turns. But it wasn't the first time I did it. I was getting away with it over and over again. Well, this time I didn't get away. What happened was the bike slipped, hit a rut, and flipped. So I tried to they say, if you get in a motorcycle accident, push the bike away. I tried to. Guess what? It's not as easy to do as they say it is.
I didn't want to go away.
And I rolled with the bike, knowing that I was going to be crippled for the rest of my life.
Yeah, but it only crippled you mentally, not physically.
It did scrape me up, but it actually, I don't think you can see it. See, there's a little bump on my finger, right around here.
Yeah, I see that.
That's what's left over.
That's from that?
What?
That's from the accident?
Yeah, that's what's left over. Okay. It messed up my bone or something. Anyway, the thing is that once I lost complete control, I went into that super slow-mo mode. that everybody talks
Yes,
about,
everything goes into slow motion. That happened to me in my accident too.
which is a nice survival technique, but it didn't help me. I wasn't able to push away that son of a bitch. I ended up like Robert Blake in Electric Light and Blue, sitting up on the road, stunned.
I don't remember the film, so I don't.
Okay, at the end, he dies, and he ends up in a sitting position on the road. That's how the
I
movie
didn't
ends.
know that.
So yeah, actually, it's a great movie. Electric, and he's fantastic in it. You know, this is before he murdered his wife. Anyway, the thing is,
that slow motion thing. It's weird because I remember with the accident, everything went into slow motion when I saw I was going to hit the car, and I'm trying to turn, and then I hit the brake, and I went up real slow like this, and then down. No seatbelts in those days.
we're
And
supposed to be talking about. Go ahead. We're
no,
supposed.
no. I'm talking about moving and seeing things in slow motion. You would think that if you're in slow motion, like in the movies, something happens in slow motion, the hero is able to do something or get something. And like you said, you were unable to kick the bike away, even though you wanted to and tried.
I was actually rolling with the bike, and for some reason, I didn't get hurt, except for a lot of scrapes. Nothing broken except for my finger.
Well, your body was relaxed. If you'd been tensed or something, you would have broken something probably.
I have no idea. I do believe throughout my life, God has been looking out for me.
Me too. I have to admit that.
I call him the man upstairs. So this way I have a sense that he's alive and in the apartment above me. And you know what? He doesn't make any noise. Because like most of the time when you live with somebody above you, you hear something. You know, there was this couple I was living below from, and they used to do this country like stomping thing that they would be dancing. They had the music on really loud and everything. At some point, I just couldn't take it anymore. I had to. Hey, can you? It's kind of 10 o'clock. Can you stop? But
could have gone up there and said, "Just want you to know, I'm a member of the NRA and I got guns."
No, I actually didn't have guns then.
No, I know. Oh, in those days you didn't.
I didn't. Oh my God! When did I start? I started when I was married to my second wife, which was after 1985.
Oh,
this 1989.
You lived near a bullet hole. Okay.
Yes. And the first gun that I got was a 12 gauge shotgun, which was an Ithaca, which Ithaca has the ejection is down, not to the side, which is better for weather and stuff because in bad weather, if you're hunting, you don't have to worry about the rain and shit getting into the side and stuff. So it's actually a smarter design as far as I'm concerned. And I had an 18-inch and I had a 22-inch for hunting and stuff like that. I may have gone hunting with it once or twice, but I preferred a single shot 16 gauge Winchester that I had, and I ended up giving it to a friend of mine who still has it and loves it. The thing is, 16 gauge is it's such an excellent compromise between 20 and 12. It has more than enough ass to do whatever you want. It's slightly more comfortable to shoot. But we should be talking about the
President's speech.
Oh my God, yes.
First of all, it was the longest one on record, but it was
2 hours. This man talks. 78 years old. He's a fucking powerhouse. And he's able to put all those thoughts together in his head. He didn't stumble once. Okay? No. Just imagine. What were the odds that Biden could ever do that for even an hour?
And he threw some humor in it, but twice. The one I remember the most is Pocahontas would applaud that.
I was amazed he said that to her face. It was amazed. He had a set of balls. He called them out. He called them out. He says,
that's what people are good about him, but that's what's so refreshing about him. He's not afraid to tell you the truth to your face. Okay?
He said, if I discovered the cure to a disease that would normally take out entire nations, they still would not stand up.
Yeah. Oh, I saw an interview that Bill Clinton had with, I forget who, with Piers Morgan years ago. And he was talking about, Morgan asked him if he ever called Putin out and so forth. And he said, well, yeah, privately told, I did call him out and I told him he was doing the wrong things, this and that. But he said, publicly, you can't insult a leader you're trying to get along with.
Right.
Then, they're going to lose face and they're not going to want to negotiate with you.
Well, that's the whole thing.
Reach an agreement.
That's how you
people are saying, "No, Trump is afraid to insult what's his face, Putin." No, Putin is a very powerful man, like him or not. He's maybe a scumbag, and he is, but he controls 5,000 some odd nuclear weapons. He is the head of one of the largest nations on earth. He's ruthless, and if you insult him to the world, he's going to want to do something.
Well, here's the thing. If you listen to Jordan Peterson, okay, he says, in order for you to truly be a man to be reckoned with, you must be dangerous. You must be capable of being dangerous. And that's the thing that they're trying to wipe away, because the fact of the matter is the corrupt and those that are trying to usurp your liberty do not want you to be dangerous. They do not want. Now, the thing is that here's an interesting fun fact. The majority of the soldiers in the Ukraine right now are over 45, which means you have geriatrics like myself on the front line. So the thing is, what makes you dangerous? Well, you have to have a will. And I'll be honest with you. I think an older man who has reached the end of his life is far more dangerous than a young man who's just exploring the possibility of getting into a situation.
Yeah. Also, another thing that Jordan Peterson said one time, I remember, he said, you have to be capable of great violence.
Yes.
If you are not capable of great violence, then you could be a peaceful man, but you're not a peaceful man if you're not capable of great violence. You're peaceful only because you have the capability of being extremely violent, but you check yourself. That's what makes you good, a good person. Okay?
You have the reputation, or you have the general appearance, or the confidence. That's people will attack. Criminals will attack people that they feel lack confidence. It's the same thing in the world of nature. The lion will attack not that which is the strongest, but they'll attack the young and the infirm. You know, and the reason is
prey.
Right, they're not going to get hurt. The thing is, if you're chasing after wildebeest, and if you're a lion and you get kicked in the face by that son of a bitch, I'm sorry, but it sucks, and it might actually kill you. So you don't want to deal with somebody. Now, as a human being, if you're in the criminal market, you need to take advantage of the weak. Okay, unless of course you're into some sort of bravado thing.
Yeah. Well, so bravado is only going to take you so far. You know, you have to be capable of defending yourself. And even if you're nervous or something, you never should. It's like the old show business saying, never let them see you sweat.
Well, the thing,
you're walking through a bad neighborhood and you know you can't be, I mean, you look around and so forth, but kind of surreptitiously, and be aware of everything. Don't look.
Okay.
Don't do that. You project fear, you're going to attract the jackals.
Right. Well, the other thing is I was watching this Kung Fu demonstration, and the master, whose name is Alvin Lee, I believe, but I'm not sure. Anyway.
Master Lee.
It was actually in a book and stuff. But anyway, the thing is, he was a recognized, I may have gotten the name wrong. But anyway, the thing is that this master says, when you're walking down the street, he said, do not presume anything. If somebody's following too close behind you, you turn around, you look him square in the face, and you ask him, what the hell are you doing? So the thing is,
or whatever, yeah.
Right. So the point is that when it comes to dangerous situations, do not hope for the best. Make sure that the situation is not as dire. Anytime when you actually engage in some way the potential perpetrator, they're either going to do one of two things, and most likely they're going to say, oh, excuse me, I'm very sorry, and move off because maybe they weren't a bad guy. But if they are a bad guy, they're going to think, oh, this guy's willing to go to stage one.
Yeah.
So the thing is that they're going to, because you cannot be a criminal and always go for dangerous paths. You have to go for the easy shit.
Yeah.
So that's why
speaking of situations, my son was in Dallas this past weekend because my granddaughter was her cheer team went down to compete in the national competition down in Dallas. Now, across the street from from the arena it was being held at, Tim had just put his daughter, I'm not going to say her name out loud, in an Uber with some of the other mothers and kids, right? And he was going to take another Uber. All of a sudden, there was a loud, it sounded like gunshots, and people start running everywhere. People are running like crazy because, these loud shots. People were panicking all over the place, and everybody started to run. He was like, "Oh shit, I got to get the hell out of here too." They're gunshots. Now, along the way, he said a lot of these kids are getting knocked down by adults and by other kids. He said he paused to help a couple of them up, a couple of the girls up and everything. And there was one girl, she fell so hard on cement, her bag went flying, but she got a big cut in her thigh. And he was reaching down, he was going to pick her up and run with her. But then two of her teammates came in and they put her arms over their shoulders, and they took her away. So he kept on going. So he ran, I think, 6 blocks. He said they all went to this hotel, right? So they go in there. He said he looked out. He went to ask the guys, "Is there another way out of here in case we have to go?" Because they didn't know what was going on. Could have been a terrorist attack, right? So they say, "Oh, there's an exit over there." So he went to the exit door. He opened it up. He sees this guy, this black guy, as it happens, with a hood over himself. He had a cloak, and he's doing something. He's fussing with something under his cloak. For all we know, he was jerking off. We don't know. But he sees that, slams the door shut, and books. So they book from there. Now, it turns out that, and these two guys are in trouble. 2 guys got into a fight across the street from the arena. Apparently 2 parents who were at the competition. And they got into a fight, and they knocked down these posts. And when the posts came down, the metal post, it sounded like gunshots.
Right.
I guess it was more than just a couple of posts. So everybody panicked. And last I heard, there were 60,000 people were affected by this. A lot of people were hurt. Anyway, my son said, these 2 guys, he told me, and I misheard, he said, they had a fight over nachos. Now, when he said they were fighting over nachos, I thought he said they were fighting. I thought that he said they were 2 nachos. And I thought, does he mean they were Mexican? But he said, what are you talking about? He goes, no, it was over nachos. Anyway, so they got into an argument because of the stupid nachos. Now, they're in a shit world of trouble because they caused a lot of damage and they caused a lot of injuries. So these guys are going to go away for a long time down in Texas.
That all depends. If one of those people couldn't establish that they were defending themselves, then that person will not be going. It would be the person who initiated.
Well, Texas is a stand your ground state, so hey, look, he tried to get my nachos because I had more cheese than he did.
No, if I was that guy, let's say if there was a person who made the first move and he was trying to grab my nachos, I would not mention that. I would say he came at me in an aggressive manner, and
I was. Yeah. But with cell phones and video cameras all over the place, they're going to find.
The thing is, I have a right to respond to my interpretation. If somebody has a plastic sword, but you don't know it's plastic,
yeah, and they're coming at you,
you get to shoot them. It's not your fault. He came at you like a madman with a plastic sword, which certain plastic swords can kill you. That's like when I used to practice Aikido.
At the very least, it could take your eye out. Do you remember that actor, Jack Elam? The one with the weird eye? He did a lot of Westerns.
Say the name again.
Jack Elam. Oh, he was in the Burt Reynolds, Dom DeLuise film, The Cannonball Run. He was the doctor. When he came out of the van, they had the music.
I did not watch that movie because I couldn't stand the idea of it.
But Jack Elam, he had one big eye. You know what happened with him? When he was in high school, he got into a little fight. And during the fight, he got accidentally jabbed in the eye with a pencil.
Okay.
He lost his eyesight in that eye. That's why his eye was so fucking weird looking. But it helped him in his career. He always played a heavy.
About the Trump speech. So the thing is that he did mention the fact that it looks very favorable that the war will stop in Ukraine. Zelensky has made it, I guess, public that
he wants to sign.
Willing to sign, and that the closest thing that you can come to an apology without actually apologizing is saying, I regret what happened.
No, he did say it was regrettable.
Right. But that's not an apology.
He didn't really take responsibility. Oh, but I saw a blurb on Brightheart that he may go back to the White House with an escort. Macron and Sturmer. No, Sturmer. Who's the guy in England? Is that Sturmer?
I don't know.
Is that the German?
I don't know.
Sturmer. The guy in England and Macron. They might go hold his hand to go see Trump again. If they do that, they're going to... Oh, and did you see he got $2 billion from England, but it's a loan.
Yeah, I heard about it.
It's not Daddy giving you money.
He wouldn't have needed the goddamn $2 billion if he had fucking signed the document with Trump when he was there.
Yeah, but he wouldn't have money. He wouldn't have money he could pocket either.
Well, you know what? He's trying to make enough money so this way he can bankroll his next film. You know, that's what can I tell you?
He's really.
And actually,
really
in his own country, they're saying that they should remove him from office.
Yeah, they want to impeach him. Well, the one guy he put in jail, a political opponent he put in jail, who's a member of parliament, made a video saying that he should be impeached.
Yes. And he's right. Because, first of all, he wasn't elected.
You know what? Sometimes when dictators leave their country and they try and come back, that's when they get arrested. And, oh, no, you're not going to do this anymore.
Well, I think in a matter of a week or so, we should be hearing very good news about that. Trump is right. It's a terrible loss of life. But what he's not saying, and which is obvious, is you do not fuck with nuclear powers, okay? Yeah. And the thing is that if at some point, if you happen to cross what imaginary line that your opponent has drawn in his mind, and all of a sudden it's the money shot, you know, bang, one tactical nuke, it's Kiev's gone.
Yeah. You know, Zelensky was demanding, what was it? He was demanding a strong commitment. He wanted American boots on the ground. But like Trump said, once we have an interest, we have $1 trillion interest there. We're going to defend it. We're not only going to have people working there, Americans, we're also going to have troops to look over them.
I think you're going to have.
Russia knows that if we say, oh, we're going to help Ukraine if you attack, they're going to say, well, tough shit.
We're going to get it.
If you say, we've got $1 trillion at stake, you know that the United States is going to defend $1 trillion worth of its interest.
It won't have to, because we'll be making money. We'll be working in Russia, taking out rare earths as well.
Yes.
And the thing is that, do you really want to stab your business partner in the back?
Exactly.
Money? Exactly. No, I don't think you do.
Look, with drill, baby, drill, Putin's going to lose a lot of income that he makes from selling oil to Europe. Because we're going to be selling.
Not if he makes it to you.
Wait. Two, he can replace that lost income by selling us the rare earth minerals that will help him get out of the ground.
Well, the thing is that if we're making the kind of fuel that we can do, okay, if we make all that kind of stuff, all that kind of fuel, regardless of its type, okay, a lot of it's going to be in this country. A lot of, what was it?
Well, we have it here. We just don't know where and how much.
What is it? I think in the United States they shut down 50 power plants during the Biden administration, 50 power plants throughout the country. So we have to reestablish those, okay? We have to improve our grid. We have to establish the dome, okay? We're probably going to have Greenland as a 51st state, which is fan-free.
Not necessarily. It looks like, poking Denmark by saying we want to take it over. Denmark saying, look, you can come in and get the minerals. You're going to make money for us as well as for you.
Well, actually,
you can have bases there.
Well, actually, Trump is speaking directly to the people of Greenland.
He did. That's right.
Right. So the thing is that if the people of Greenland, with a great majority, say we wish to be part of your nation, nothing's going to get in that way. And what we might do is we might compensate Denmark with some sort of treaty that gives them access to Greenland, et cetera, et cetera. But the thing is that he has asked, I forgot one of the things I needed to tell you about.
Well, he wants them to vote on it themselves to determine their own fate. And if they determine they want to stay in Denmark, they stay with Denmark. But it's so close, going to be so close that Denmark will want to make a deal with the U.S. anyway.
I think it's 50, 60,000 people in Greenland. That's it.
Something thousand, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. So here's the thing.
Wait, more than that.
Remember I talked about this hat?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hold on. The reason why, how many people live in Greenland?
Shut up.
50.
I said, yeah, we were both right. But anyway, the point is this, okay? I mentioned this hat, and I've been walking around with it for over 4 years now.
Right.
And just another piece of information, I get more people coming at me now than I did before Trump won. All of a sudden, all of the people that have felt uncomfortable about it feel safer. But here's the thing. I added something to my hat. See that little symbol?
The American, the cross?
Yes. I'm now wearing the cross of when you have communion, the communal cross.
Oh,
Okay.
that's the thing?
Yes.
Okay.
See,
All right. No,
it's
I
the
didn't know what that's what it was
chalice.
called.
It's a
Okay.
chalice. Okay. So why am I
Challenge.
wearing that? Okay. The thing is that I do honor and respect the Christian faith more so than other ones. In other words, I consider myself semi-Christian. Okay, because that's where I started. I
Yeah,
also
Christian
consider
tendencies.
myself following the path of the Cherokee. I also consider myself a Taoist. I also have a little bit of Buddhism in me. So I'm a hodgepodge of religions. But the point is, why that? Okay, I feel it's absolutely necessary for people like myself to remind other people that it's not just make America great as some sort of like political industrial machine. We also have to protect our religious integrity, because without God in your life, in some degree, without a higher purpose in your life, without something that is greater than yourself that you can call upon when you are at your worst, without that, then you are on your own.
Yeah, but isn't that contradicting what you said earlier about escaping your mind and escaping the matrix?
Well, first of all,
For meaning, because
this
your
is
mind is always looking for meaning.
this is in the heart. It's not in the mind.
Okay.
The mind can interact with it and it can interpret it, etc., etc. But the fact of the matter is that religion is a spiritual experience. Well, actually, not religion, but communing with God is a spiritual experience. It's something that transcends language. So therefore, it's like being an artist. That's my opinion, anyway. So the thing is that, but we must honor the First Amendment, okay, which is religious freedom, and a lot of people don't understand the Declaration that about church and state, okay, is that the founding fathers wanted to make sure not that the state was primary to the church, but that the church is primary to the state. So
Well,
also so that the church did not directly, in other words, I think I'm saying it all wrong, but the
no,
point is that
I've heard, I've read about this before and everything. I believe that the founding fathers' intent was not to impose any religion whatsoever, on the American people.
right,
In other words,
right.
choose your own religion, but the religion is not going to be imposed by the government, and religion is not going to rule through the government.
Right, so it's not a theocracy.
No, it's not going to be a theocracy. Priests priests or ministers or whatever, rabbis, they can run for office.
But
That's
the
not a problem.
enemies of liberty are constantly saying that it's inverted, that religion should not be recognized by the state, when in fact, that's not what it's about. It's like, oh, you can't put a Christian or a Jewish image up on the front lawn of the city hall because the division of church and state. No.
Yeah,
no.
that's totally twisted around. That's totally fucked up.
This is so this way when people now see this, they understand I also stand for religious freedom. That's basically it. And the spokesman for the White House wears a crucifix.
Caroline Levitt, she's great.
Right. And one day she wasn't wearing it. And she was asked, is that your response from all of the heat that you've been getting for wearing your crucifix? She goes, no, I just didn't feel like wearing it today. And I don't think that me wearing a crucifix should even be part of this conversation.
No, it shouldn't. Yeah. They're ridiculous.
But that's the same thing as the woman who became in the Supreme Court, Chief Justice, when they asked her if her religious, because she's Roman Catholic, if her religious beliefs would interfere with her capacity as a judge. I was like, really? Yeah. Thank you for that. That was like this big fear that.
Wait. What did she say? Because your voice blanked out there. I don't know if the recording thing caught it or not, but I didn't catch it.
Barrett.
What did she say? What was her reaction?
Barrett was asked if she would be influenced by her religious, or should I say, if her religion would directly affect her views or her product or whatever. That just rubbed me the wrong way. So everybody who has a religion, they should be asked the same question. But no, for some reason, because she's a Roman Catholic, they chose to ask that question. Anything to to basically trip her up and hopefully cause some sort of emotional response.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, fine. But her response was that essentially that she's going to follow the law, and she's there to interpret the law and the Constitution.
Right.
And as long as
tried to pull the same bullshit with John F. Kennedy, that he was Catholic, the Pope was going to be running the country
first. Yes, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah, he was the first Catholic president.
Yeah, those crazy old Catholics.
And now we have a president who is the first of the positive thinkers. All right, look, we've gone about an hour now, and I think that's enough for this session.
Well, let's be sure. Is there anything else that happened in the speech that we've left behind?
Yeah, they showed Nancy Pelosi looking like the ugly hag that she truly is. Well, she looked like she should have been in a nursing home watching some. Did you see her? She's trying to keep her teeth in her mouth. And somebody did a meme where she had that thing in her hand. I don't know what it was. And somebody did a meme showing that it was a bottle of Jack Daniels.
Yeah, there was somebody was holding up a sign that said "You lie" or "Fake" or whatever.
Elon steals that
no,
one.
No, it's just fake. Just fake. And so the people who was dissecting the speech said, "Fake what?" It's like, there was a couple of signs like that just was one word that actually was not clear. One was like, and the thing is, another thing that they said, what's his name? The Ukrainian president Zelensky, that he didn't wear a suit, and he was somewhat ridiculed for going to a.
Yeah, that reporter was out of line asking him that.
Right, but here's the thing. And then they said, yeah, but Elon Musk doesn't wear a suit a lot of times. You don't bother with that. He says, it's not the same thing.
Yeah.
And also, the thing is that Elon Musk is working for nothing, and he's performing this great task. This guy's begging for money. He's begging for support. When you go for a job interview, do you show up in a T-shirt and a pair of shorts?
Well, some people do that, and they go with all these jewelry stapled to their face and stuff, and they're surprised they don't get the job.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
I do have one of those memes that has some of the Democrats holding up those stupid signs, and they put in different things like instead of what they had there, like Elon Steele, they had one guy's holding up "America Last," another is "I love war." Then Presley, they got, what the hell is this? "I steal from taxpayers." Another guy saying, "I voted against women."
Wow.
Another one, a woman with "illegals first." And finally, there's a woman holding a sign that says, "I don't know what a woman is."
Wow.
So anyway, okay. To close out the show, we got to do something. We didn't do it yesterday in the last show we taped.
Oh, no.
Yes, the All-American Dad joke.
It looks just like Biden. You should be ashamed of yourself. It looks like Biden.
It does look like a young Biden, but it can't be Biden because Biden would never wear an American flag shirt.
He would if he was directing illegals into the country.
Okay, let me ask you the question. What do you call an injured Batman? Bruised Wayne.
Bruised Wayne?
Bruised Wayne.
I didn't even think of it.
Since we didn't do it yesterday, may as well go since we didn't do it last show, go one more.
You too, sure.
Why are basketball players such messy eaters?
Because they dribble.
Yes, they're always dribbling. Hey, ding, 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 ding. Ring your bell. You got that one. Okay, folks, we're going to let you go now.
No, there was
Sorry
one
for the finish. It was terrible, I know. But the rest of the show, I hope you enjoyed. Please rate us. And
one more thing.
Go ahead.
Do you remember when Trump...
Do you remember?
Do you remember when Trump went through the entire a long list of all the funding that Elon Musk has discovered? Like, money going to like Albania to do this and money for this, money for that.
Just a fact.
He was doing that off the top of his head, I believe.
Probably, because the ones that stood out the most.
These were the most really ridiculous. It's like they sent, I forget, Pakistan. I think they spent $8 million in prophylactics, and there was a.
Oh yeah, for
this one. They spent $5 million to make transsexual mice.
Well, that's better than the $48,000 to make a transsexual. No, it was a transsexual musical in I forget what country.
It was in Ireland.
Ireland.
Yes, and then there was, I believe, $70,000 was sent to Iraq for Sesame Street, an Iraqi Sesame Street.
Did you see the Sesame Street thing they had?
No.
No. There was another Sesame Street that was sent to I forget where some leftist organization to make a Sesame Street thing just to claim that elections in the United States were fair and were fair, basically. Okay, and it's such bullshit. It's these phony. I mean, $14 million they got for this crap. You could have done it for $20. All right, let's say $100 with inflation for the materials for the two Muppets they use.
All you gotta do is knock on Rudy Giuliani's house door and just ask him for the information. It doesn't cost you a dime. When Giuliani came to Pennsylvania and introduced the information to Doug Mastriano in the year, I believe it was 2020, and he had a ton of exculpatory evidence, that the election was stolen in Pennsylvania.
Right.
Mastriano had one of the greatest speeches I've ever heard. And it wasn't a speech. It was him just standing up saying, based upon what you told me, we cannot stand for this, blah, blah, blah. We're going to get to the bottom of this, find out what really happened. It was like, I felt like it was 1775 and it was a patriot saying, we shall fight them on the shores. We shall fight them in the woods, that kind of thing. One of the great speakers of those times. It just felt revolutionary. It was full of piss and vinegar.
Yeah. The media here doesn't tell us, but there is an undercurrent of populism growing in Europe, and they are forming their own sort of, for lack of a better term, let's call it their own kind of MAGA.
They sent millions of dollars to Zambia to introduce them to DE.
Did you see what Trump said about they sent X amount of dollars to Lesotho for I don't know what? He goes, a country nobody's ever heard of.
That's right. And he also said there was this one thing is that there was a phrase, I forget what it was. He goes, does anybody know what that means? So listen.
Yeah, he's funny, man. He really is.
These people that are attached to these funds, they're doing crazy shit and money is being spread all over the place. The strength and the vitality of America has been literally leached away by these scavengers. And Trump and his team are shining a light in this kitchen that we've created. And all of a sudden, there's cockroaches all over the place. They all can't get away fast enough. And Musk is stepping on them. You son of a bitch. And they hate Musk for it.
No, they hate Musk for shining a light on the corruption. They stood for, these Democrats, they stood for a felon by the name of George Floyd. But they wouldn't stand for this young kid that had brain cancer or for Laken Riley, who was killed by one of the illegals that they invited into our country. These pieces of shit. The Democrat Party should be finished, okay?
Well, the Democratic Party, as we know it now, basically, it's kind of like they exposed themselves utterly and completely last night as someone, it's real simple. Will you stand up and applaud a 13-year-old black boy
Obviously they won't.
Of cancer, who's about to get an award? Will you at least stand for that child? No?
Yeah. Or the girl who was...
What good are you? What good are you? You call yourself a human being? You're not a human being because you put your political concerns above the needs of a dying child. You miserable piece of shit. End of fucking statement. Now I'm done.
There you go. Okay.
I'm sorry. I
think that's a good way to close this show out. Fuck the Democrats. And
I'm not always a nice guy.
Anybody who still supports the Democrats, go fuck yourselves. Sorry. What?
If you can, I'm sure you can find a way. Bunch of dickless cocksuckers.
Yeah. They can't really fuck themselves because they have no dick. They have no balls.
That's all like the Ghostbusters. Yes.
That's the best line in the whole movie.
That's so funny. That's such a great movie.
Yeah. This man is dickless. Is this true? Yes, sir. This man has no dick.
What a love. And the thing is, that character that was in with the red hair and everything, He's a fine example of bureaucracy. A man who literally.
Oh yeah, he's the guy who was in Die Hard. Who what's his name punched in Die Hard 2 after the plane because he exposed her family. No, it was at the end of Die Hard, the original Die Hard.
Oh.
He came up and asked her a question. She went bam, punched him, and he was like, "Did you get that? Did you get that?" He played a real scumbag.
Yeah, he was the newscaster.
Yes,
You know,
he was a real jerk off. He was the guy you hated him even more than you hated Hans.
right. But here's the thing: we hate his characters, but we love the actor.
Yes. Okay.
Now we
Well, here it is.
we can't say we love the actor because you guys are out of control, brother, sister. Oh my God! What the fuck?
Wait. Watch.
Have I done?
But they have the thing with the come on. Oh, there it is. The bottle. Jack Daniel.
Yeah, those deep fakes.
Yeah. All right. We're gonna go. We're already
By the way,
13 minutes past our goodbye.
you can't do that deep fake shit and making something look like somebody's having some sort of sexual activity.
Oh, they did. And remember that girl sitting next to Melania?
Yeah.
She was the one who they put her face in a porno film to embarrass her.
Right. You know, and the thing is that, you know, just imagine you're this young kid, 14, 15 years old, just coming into life, just excited about, you know, your future in regards to boys and stuff like that. And all of a sudden you find out the entire school is watching something, some sort of sexual perversion.
Yeah.
You don't know how grotesque it was, but the point is that, and everybody initially is going to believe that. And how many guys are going to come up to you and expect that from you? I mean,
all right.
Yep. Once a girl gets a reputation in the school, the horny factor kicks in.
Yeah, and no matter how many people tell other people that, oh, this was bullshit, there's going to be a fraction, probably that 24-25% that are going to believe that it was real.
You know, I'm sorry I didn't mention your T-shirt. I was so into my hat, I didn't. You and I both dressed up for this, unlike certain presidents from countries.
You mean the guy who dressed up appropriately because of what he was doing, begging, but he forgot his cup?
The guy that was not elected president, who allows his Ukrainian Orthodox priests to be tortured and killed in this country, and take
again. I don't know about that. I haven't been able to verify that. I know that the Russians were torturing the Ukrainian priests. I don't know if Zelensky was also doing it or what. Well, I do know that Zelensky is having young men, even middle-aged men.
Joe Rogan interviewed this gentleman, and it's probably an easy look up. You know, Joe Rogan, Russian priests. If you type those things in, you'll probably find it.
I'm gonna check that out.
It's extremely difficult to listen to all of it in one bite. You know, and that's another reason why I'm wearing this Eucharist symbol.
There was another thing. They are so intent on conscripting young men and even middle-aged men to go to the front lines to fight the Russians, and they beat the shit out of them and kidnap them, throw them in vans and stuff. And there was one lady who said she and her husband went over to Ukraine. They adopted two Ukrainian boys and so forth. And she said, while they were there, they were told, her husband was told, make sure you carry your American passport at all times, because if you don't have it, they might just take you off the streets and try and send you to the front lines. So things are bad over there.
Yeah, they are.
Okay.
There was something else. Oh, my God, I was listening to you.
Shut up, folks.
Well, no. This was good.
Go ahead.
I just see you were talking. What was I talking about before you said something? I was talking about the priests and stuff, right?
The Ukrainian priests.
Right.
Oh, and you told me that Joe Rogan had somebody on talking about it.
With this gentleman about that subject. Damn it, I lost it. There's something else I want to mention. We were talking about guns for a while earlier in this podcast. And one of the things I wanted to say is this. Do not pick up any sort of weapon unless you mean to use it. Okay? Yeah. And the thing is that, let's say you decide to carry. Do not put that gun in your pocket unless you've already made a commitment to yourself that you will use it if absolutely necessary.
Yes, exactly.
So the thing is that you don't want to be put in a position where you've got this false bravado because you have a firearm, and all of a sudden you start asking yourself a lot of questions. No, that is not the time to have that moral
No.
imperative.
You have to do that beforehand. You have to know that you will be able to resort to violence, to that kind of violence, if your life is in danger or the life of your loved ones or some stranger even is in danger. If
And yeah,
somebody's life is in danger, then you have to be able to use extreme violence.
and don't wait for you to have a weapon in your possession. Ask yourself now, what am I willing to do uh, to live? Am I willing to defend myself? Am I willing to defend others? Be clear about that,
Yeah,
because
like what my son did. He was running for his life, but he still stopped to help kids who had been trampled and knocked to the ground. He still stopped to help. That made me so proud, hearing he'd done that, okay? Because he was scared for his life, and he still stopped to help the kids.
Stacey Abrams, they found out that I believe close to $2 billion went to her.
Yeah, and she's claiming no.
Yeah, but the problem is that they're now discovering how to link all of these funny money things,
Oh
because
yeah, no, they're going to link it back to her, and hopefully she will be wearing orange pantsuit behind bars pretty soon.
well, here's the thing. All you have to do is talk to a number of banks and say, oh, around this time, transaction of $172 million took place. Anything, anybody? It's like,
Oh yeah, the banks have to do it because they don't want to lose their charter.
yeah, yeah.
Banks will throw anybody under the bus.
Man, I wish I could remember that other thing. But everything that I forget seems to be important.
I know. It sucks though. As you get older, you forget. I was driving. I think I told you this. I was driving with my friend Paul a couple of weeks ago, and we were talking about something. All of a sudden, we saw something that distracted us driving by, and then when we tried to go back to the conversation, neither of us could remember what the hell we were talking about, and we'd been engrossed by the conversation. So that sucked. Anyway, that's a result of getting older. You have so many memories in your head, things going out. Everything's flying around. That's the difference, by the way. Valentina was telling me when she studied psychology, they said that men and women's brains are different. Women are focused, laser focused, but men, we are multitasking in our heads all the time. We're thinking, we're doing this, but we're thinking that, and we're thinking about that, and we see this and we hear that. Everything's going on all at once, and we can't. It's difficult to focus.
I was taught that men are linear thinkers. They tend to think in a straight line, whereas women are about systems, that they think in totalities. So I disagree.
Yeah, but they can focus, and we have so much going on in our minds.
Well, we can focus too.
We don't focus. That's why. No, this is why you'll forget something. Like I told you to bring home bread, didn't I? I forgot. Because that wasn't important. You're thinking of something else that's important or that distracted you.
Wrong. You're wrong because you never told me to bring home bread.
Thank God I don't live with you anyway.
Baby. Laser focused on your ass.
Laser focused. Okay, folks, we're going to cut it here. And we're at an hour and 21 minutes. Folks, please rate the program, share it with everybody you know, and we will see you again next time on The View from Here.
Yeah, and don't forget